your girlfriends and your wives, and a very warm welcome to Friday's edition of the DCU Daily, where we're premiering a new slot, as well as updating you with the DCU there will be, and in other news, as we discuss and react to the fact and news that Eon has handed over creative control of the iconic property of James Bond to Amazon and Jeff Bezos. What could possibly go wrong? But first, as you've just seen yesterday, Mr. James Gunn posted a selfie with Mr. Zack Snyder, and unless you're dead or live in a fictional world or live on a desert island, right, you know that Zack Snyder fans and James Gunn fans have been duking it out for the longest time possibly. I am not a stan of directors. I'm an admirer of directors, of course, but I understand that directors are not responsible for an entire movie. That to make a movie or a television show or a streaming show, you've got a crew. And it's the crew that normally carry the director and make the director look so brilliant. Stop believing you're BTS. It isn't just the director that makes June and June 2 look so great, for example. But anyway, what does that selfie actually mean? It means that James Gunn, DC Studios, the DCU, Warner Brothers Discovery and David Zaslav are panicking. If you're seeing that selfie and you're thinking, oh my God, Zack Snyder could direct something in the DCU, calm down your expectations. That could be possible. What this means is that the Snyderverse fandom are more powerful than they ever imagined. More powerful than James Gunn ever imagined. He's desperately, WBD are desperately trying to bring the Snyderverse fandoms to the table, trying to quieten the noise because they're scared. We know why James Gunn did that selfie and posted it. And for the people saying it's just two directors who happen to be friends, right? I've got friends. I don't post selfies of them on Instagram to make a point. That selfie was taken and posted for a reason. It was posted because they're panicking, because they're scared, because they're desperate for this Superman movie to be successful. But wait, I thought that all the calculations that WBD did, that Superman is going to be a huge $1 billion movie success. Don't believe a word of it. So we know why James Gunn would have wanted this selfie posted and taken. But why has Zack Snyder done this? Don't forget, as much as I love him and love his movies, Zack Snyder's the same guy who told us that we should go and watch Blue Beetle because it was being representative and inclusive of the Latino community. A crappy movie, Zack. Zack told us representation mattered. It only matters when it's done right, and it wasn't done right, Zack, on Blue Beetle. As bad and as toxic as Gunn was for telling us the Flash movie was one of the best movies in the genre, don't forget, again, as much as I love him, Zack Snyder told us that Wonder Woman 84 was a great movie and we should go and see it because he was an executive producer and he was going to make money from that movie as well. I love him. He's a great guy. But let's not get it twisted. Can we really trust these people blanketly? And I'm not being negative towards Zack. I'm just making a point. What does this selfie mean? As I say, it means they are damn desperate. And I don't know what he said to Snyder to get him to take that selfie. This is not about two directors that are friends. I think at the bottom it says, this is my good friend Zack Snyder, who's also a great storyteller and a great director. Do you think these two men are trying to tell their fans something? Yes, they don't want their fans to keep on arguing because it's divisive, because it hurts the ultimate box office, because the Snyder fandom isn't a toxic minority. It's a loud majority, and it represents a huge amount of the cinema going audience, whether you want to accept that or not. And this selfie is absolute panic, and it shows you the power of the Snyderverse community. And this is how scared they are. Make no mistake, that selfie is fear. That selfie is panic. Now, as I said earlier, does this mean that Zack could direct something in the DCU? Now, Snyder fans are responding and saying, all we want is Zack's arc to be finished. Is that what Zack wants? Last time he spoke about his wish to make another DC movie, he spoke about doing a direct adaptation of The Dark Knight Returns. Would Snyderverse stans accept that instead of him finishing his Justice League story? Because I think with the problems they've had with developing Brave and the Bold, maybe Zack Snyder could be replacing Andy Muschietti. Maybe my theory that Ben Affleck is still Batman is still a thing. And that Zack Snyder is the only director that Ben Affleck would work with to return as Batman. Are we leading to an announcement that Ben Affleck and Zack Snyder are going to make a Dark Knight Returns adaptation in DC Elseworlds or part of the DCU? And how would Snyderverse stans respond to this? Because I think there's a section of the fandom that's really gonna hate Gunn no matter what he does and what he says. And there's another part of the fandom who thinks, you know what? They've just taken a selfie together. There's a potential of these two men working together. As long as Zack has creative artistic freedom and these men are trying to wave the white flag and there's something good out of this, I would be very happy. But we mustn't forget where the DCU was bred from. We mustn't forget what Gunn did to James Wan, and we mustn't forget who these people truly are. The only way to deal with modern day entertainment people is with cynicism. To be cynical, then if they do deliver something amazing, then brilliant. I was 50% shocked by that selfie, but another side of me thought, well, this is no surprise. This is confirmation that the Snyderverse fandom, the stans, are very powerful. And the noise they're creating is huge. Don't forget, James Gunn's the same man when he first took over as co-CEO of DC Studios that called the Snyderverse fandom a toxic minority. Well, James, it doesn't look like they're much of a minority anymore. This is James Gunn and WBD and Zaslav waving the white flag. So, if I was the Snyderverse fans, because I don't know if we're in a position yet, which this means Zack's coming back to DC, but I think we're close to that. They've just shown their fear. So my advice to the Snyderverse stans, I'm a fan of Snyder myself. I love his DC movies. Keep on making noise and we could get exactly what we want. This is a declaration from James Gunn, not of a friendship with Zack Snyder. This is not just a random selfie. This is, guys, I hear you. I need to be successful. I need Superman to be successful. Here's your man. I'm breaking bread with your man. Now, where that photo was taken, interestingly, I think it was a guy called Aaron S. Bailey. Sorry if I've got your name wrong, Aaron, who actually pinpointed that was taken in the same place. Gunn took a group selfie with his new DC Studios writing team, which is also very interesting. My hope is that Snyder is back. And don't be surprised if Ben Affleck and Zack Snyder are going to reunite with another Batman movie. Now, time to premiere in with my other news segment. This is a new segment because I love entertainment, and I will be talking about when there's other news. We'll do a DCU daily, and because I don't have the time to do separate videos, I write and direct my original plays with my amateur dramatic society. We perform for the local community in my own theatre. I'm writing a movie called Saving Judy Garland. As most of you know, I do not have the time to do separate videos. Anyway, there was some even bigger, huger breaking news than the Zack Snyder and James Gunn selfie. It was finally announced by Amazon MGM that they have taken creative control of the James Gunn. They have taken control of the James Bond IP from Eon Productions. Yes, Amazon MGM have now got creative control of the James Bond franchise. The same people who produce the Rings of Power. Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Time will tell. But there was a little bit of positivity as Jeff Bezos posted on his very own ex-Twitter account and asked the fans who should play the next James Bond, because they know how huge this is, that they can't do to James Bond what they've done to the Tolkien books, what they've done to Rings of Power. They know that. They know that Rings of Power is a mess. They'll never admit it, but they know they went the wrong direction. Will this be another DEI extravaganza, or are they genuinely going to make a great Bond movie? The popular choice to play the next Bond is Henry Cavill, and I'm here for that, and we'll see what happens there. I don't think all the I's have been dotted with this situation, but yeah, Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson have done a stellar job to a point with James Bond, but they did become very current day, talking down what her father had created, saying that old Bond was a problem, and even the director of No Time to Die slaughtering Roger Moore and Sean Connery, an absolute disgrace. Even the official Bond account barely mentioning Sir Roger Moore's birthday. My father was friends with Sir Roger Moore. Sir Roger Moore convinced my father to join Lloyd's Bank, and then my father was a member of Lloyd's Bank all his life. So they were very, very good friends, as I said to you before. My father was connected to the industry. So I think this had to happen. I told you this would happen from after No Time to Die. As soon as Amazon bought MGM, I told you that Broccoli and Wilson would clash with Amazon MGM, and they did. We saw what Broccoli said publicly in an article about them. She was offended by them calling it content and then wanting a multitude of different spin-offs. Well, Babs, what did you think was going to happen? Why do you think these people bought the property? They want to mine it. This is where we are today. It's about content. It's about streaming. It's about spin-offs. This is where we are today. We have a Dexter Original Sin prequel. We have Dexter Resurrection. This is where we are today. So, my idea for Bond has been for a long time to create a young James Bond series that ultimately will connect to the movies. That a young James Bond and his parents are targeted for assassination while they're on a rock climbing holiday. His parents die. He goes on the run as a teenager. He befriends a young girl and they go on the run, and every episode they're in different places while the MI5 and Spectre are hunting them and chasing them. And this will build up to Bond's spy era in the movies. That's what I would do. So if anyone's interested in that, why don't you let Amazon MGM? So how do I feel about this? Well, I would be so comfortable right now if Universal had bought MGM because of their connection with Christopher Nolan, because they're a more capable outfit and studio, and they are the most successful, profitable studio in Hollywood right now. But I'm making no predictions. I'm 50% scared and 50% excited. Only time will tell.